This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so everyone, my name is Samantha or Sam. I'm the foreign trainer, and I am a former technician and scribe, and I'm based out of Boston here. So I'll be hosting your WebEx today. Just let me know if you have any questions at all, anything on Forum or Retina Workplace. And it's my understanding that this version of Retina Workplace is new to you. Also, in my experience with training, there's things features that you may not know that were available on the previous version. So I'll deep dive into the basic features in Retina Workplace. Some of them may be new to you, some of them you may be familiar with, but I just want to make sure that you're all comfortable with the software and the features available in this workplace specifically. So I'll start with a good AMD patient here, and again, just let me know if you have any questions along the way. So the first thing that you may notice is your Retina Workplace menu has changed. Previously on the version before, it said MAC thickness analysis first and last two. And then there was another one here that said MAC thickness analysis last three. And then we have the change analysis, and then we also had the raster scans first and last two and last three. They've done away with that, sort of simplified the menu. And the reason is when you click on MAC thickness analysis, it always pulls up the three most recent now, but you can always click and drag other visits into place. So there was really no need to have that duplicate where it said last three and first and last two. So they just simplified that and made it generic MAC thickness analysis. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And as you can see here, it pulled up the three most recent. Same as before, a lot of these features, you have the right and the left eye. Those are always going to be separate. And then a lot of these tools and functions that you had in the previous version are still available here. So of course, when we click on any scan, it's going to scroll through the slices of today's and the other visits that you have up on the screen. You have your signal strength here. This little play feature allows you to just scroll through automatically, so you don't have to use the wheel on the mouse. It just goes through on its own, and you can adjust the speed by dragging this bar here. You might notice that there's a few other features when you hover over. So we have some measuring tools and caliper tools here. So this just gives us the ability to measure. Let's say there was a big area here of fluid, we would just click and drag and release, and we get that measurement. Now this will stick, so the next time you log in, this measurement will always be here, but you can always click on it and edit, or you can click on it and just hit the delete key. There's no delete function up here on the screen, but just the delete key on the keyboard. Oops, excuse me, let me click on that. And then you can also right click and just delete it from there. This one here, the circle measurement, is good if you're measuring the optic nerve. You have a freehand. You also have the ability to add in text. And then you also have the ability here to edit the brightness and contrast on the screen. And again, this will all stay for you, so the next time you log in, it stays put. If we double click anywhere on the screen, it's going to enlarge that area. So I double clicked on the B-scan area, so now this is my large view. Or if I double click on the fundus area, you're going to get this to be your large view. And you can also toggle between the two at the very top of the screen. And then you have all of your overlays here for MAC thickness analysis, your on-pass analysis, and your advanced RPE analysis. Close and go back here. A few other things to keep in mind, and some of this is customizable, so you may notice when I first log in, it's always going to default to this chart view, and my overlay is always going to be the ETDRS overlay. We can go into Retina Workplace, the settings, and customize that, and it is user specific. So let's say one of the doctors prefers that every time they log in, they want their overlay to be the thickness map or the ETDRS. You can customize that here. There's some user-specific settings. Or let's say every time you log in, you don't want the chart view to be default, you prefer, let's say, overlays. You can change that as well and just hit save here, and then that would take effect. And to make those adjustments, it's under System, Workplace Administration, Retina Workplace, and then anything under the user-specific settings you can customize. So for example, if I had changed it to every time I log in to default to the overlay, this would be my default view. I can still go back and toggle between these, but this would appear first rather than the chart view. One of the most powerful things about the chart view that I like here is that this is where you can click and drag your other visits into date. So you see the visit date in the top left-hand corner, and it pulled up the 3 most recent automatically. But let's say now you want to go back and look at that first OCT. You can just click on this circle here, which represents a visit date, and drag and drop it into place. And now it will load that OCT on the screen for you. If you see a symbol like this little hashtag or pound symbol above the OCT, that means that a raster scan was acquired on the same day. So if I click on that, it will automatically register the HD scan, whether it's a HD radial, an HD cross, 5-line, 21-line, whatever the HD scan that was done on that day. It will overlay using the vessel registration and put the scan on the screen. So now if I click on one of the lines and scroll, I'm going through the 5-line. If I click in the cube, I'm scrolling through the cube. And again, that's a feature that will stick for you every time you log in. But you can remove it just by clicking on this little drop-down arrow and remove from the list. It also says register manually here or show result. That just means how it was registered when you show the result. Or you can register manually. Let's say it's just not a clear image and it wasn't able to match up the vessels on its own. This is where, just like on the OCT, you would come in and identify at least 3 alike vessels. And then hit register, and it would register for you manually. And that's just by this symbol here. Also, this little white circle at the bottom of the screen means that a raster scan was done on that day as well. So that's just another way that you could bring that into place. So if I click on this circle and drag and drop it, I can also bring the HD scan on the screen. Now you can see the ones with the double rings around them represent the scans that are currently up on the screen, and the one that has the blue circle is the one that you're currently highlighting or currently selecting. One of the new features in this version, you have this symbol here, and that means registering the fundus image. Previously in the old version, you would have to manually come over, find your fundus photo, and drag it into place. But they've now added this function here. So if I just hit register fundus image with one click, it's going to show me all the fundus images that were acquired on that day. I can choose the one that I want, hit register, and as long as it has a clear view of the vessels, it'll automatically register your OCT on top of your fundus photo. This feature up here, you have hide overlays, so that just snaps it on and snaps it off so that you can clearly see your fundus photo and then go back to the OCT. And this feature here allows you to adjust the transparency of the overlay. I can always toggle between here. This is where you can remove from the list, register manually, and these arrows allow you to toggle between the LSO image from the OCT or the fundus image that you just manually overlaid. Another nice feature about the chart is that you can add clinical events, which you were able to do before. However, now they've added this quick little button here that just hides and displays the clinical events. So that's new, the fact that you can just toggle between hiding them and bringing them on the screen. But to add the clinical events, just in case anybody is not familiar, you would just click on an OCT date or even anywhere on the chart, and you could choose add injection, medication, surgery, clinical event, or other. So let's say I just hit add injection here. I could label it IVA or Avastin, however you want to label it. Color code, we have some practices that do, all the Lucentis in green, IVA in blue, Avastin in red, or all surgeries are red, all drops are green, all, injections are blue. So you can color code it however you want, put in any notes here, maybe your intervals, and then I hit add, and it's now going to add in that clinical event for me. I can always left click on it and hit edit or copy, so that way I can delete it if needed, or I could copy it to another visit date. And I do like that it tallies up here on the right-hand side how many injections, surgeries, or other clinical events have been done. So that's really the power of the chart view. And the reason I have it as default when I log in is just so that I can click and drag other scans into place and easily manage the clinical events. Any questions so far? All right.
No.
Awesome. So the next tab here is your overlays. Pretty straightforward. It's just a way for you to toggle between your OCT fundus image, your thickness map, or the ETDRS. And again, keep in mind you can set these as a default. You can hover over them or just click and that will stick on the screen for you. This one here is the table view. Again, these two features have been here in Retina Workplace for quite some time, but the table view just gives you all of your numerical data and your parameters that you would have on your OCT printout. And it does depend, keep in mind, this information does depend on which overlay you're on. So of course, if we change it here to the fundus image, or let's say I go down here to the VRI, you now lose that data and it just shows you the current parameters, the offset, and the thickness here. This is a new feature. It just hides the bottom half of the screen, so it enlarges your view a little bit of the OCT, but hides all the analysis. Also, keep in mind you can rotate your fundus photo by 180 degrees here, and that's just using this function at the top of the screen. This here allows you to edit or display your segmentation line. So I'm going to pull up my B-scan here. Excuse me. And turn it into color, and then display the segmentation lines. This is your HD, so it just makes it a little bit sharper for you. Here it's going to allow you to reset the foveal position or display the fovea in the correct position, so I could turn that on or off. And then again over here, this just snaps the slices back to the center, and then this allows you to adjust the transparency. So that's the MAC thickness analysis. The other one that we have, pretty straightforward, same as the previous version and same as it would be on your OCT printout when you select the MAC change analysis. It always just defaults to today's visit and the most recent previous visit. However, you can manually drag it for other visit dates into place. And I apologize for the delay here. When you guys are in clinic and using this live, it starts to pre-cache the data based on your orders. Of course, I'm not in a live clinic scenario, so it has nothing here to pre-cache, so it just takes a minute to come up. But this is your MAC change analysis here. So it's just showing you the difference between today and the previous visit. Again, if I want to see the change between today and this visit, I can just drag it onto my screen. It will take a second to load, but you can view it here. The other one we have is the advanced RPE. And again, this was here on the previous version, so it's just your advanced RPE analysis. Same features, dragging your test into place, scrolling through the slices live. You can overlay your raster scans, all the same functionality, just a different view. The raster scans again was here before it was the first and last two or the three most recent. Now it just defaults to the three most recent, and you can always drag your other visits into place. Up at the very top, the thing to keep in mind with this raster scan view is that you can change your scan patterns. So if the patient had multiple different scan patterns, like a radial or a 21 line, this is where you could select to view all 21 lines or all radials and toggle between the different patterns. Now this is the newest feature, is the angiography. So I'm just going to select a different patient that has some OCTA scans. Okay, so this is a CNV patient. This is always going to be your default view here. Again, if they had multiple visits, you could click and drag them into place. This is the angiography view. It's always going to default to 3x3 unless they only have, let's say, a 6x6 or an 8x8 scan, but you can toggle between the different scan sizes here. So right now it's defaulted to 3x3, but you can always select the other one. This function here, angioplex or structure, is just going to toggle between the structure view that you're getting on that LSO image from the OCT versus the angiography. You have your different overlays here, so it's a little bit different than your MAC thickness analysis. Of course, this is the vitreoretinal interface, your retinal depth encoded, the superficial layer, the deep layer, and the avascular layer. And you can see clearly here on the RPE layer, this area of the CNV. If I double click, it's going to enlarge for me. And now here on the screen, it's split. So I have angioplex and structure, but you can toggle if you just want to enlarge it to the angioplex view or just the structure view. So it's 3 clicks to toggle between these. I'm going to hit close to go back. Let's see, I want to see if this patient has this patient does not have a fundus photo, but if they did, you'd be able to overlay your fundus photo on top of this as well. Going to remove this from the list so you can see one more time how to register. So again, this is a patient with OCTA and a fundus photo. It could be done on your Claris. It could be done on any DICOM compatible camera. You would be able to overlay this. And it also does not have to be acquired on the same day. If you see this symbol here, it means that the fundus photo was acquired on that same day. But let's say you did an OCTA today and then the fundus photo, let's say 6 months ago. Keep in mind that you can always come back to your visit menu here on the right-hand side. Just click on this arrow, and then you could go down and look at all of the different visit dates, click and drag your drag your fundus photo into place. So it does not have to be acquired on the same day. If it is acquired on the same day, just a single click here, choosing the one you want to overlay, and then hitting register. Sorry for the delay here. Double click, so I have my separate angioplex and structure view. I have all of my different overlays here. You can always adjust the transparency if you'd like, and then I can toggle back and forth between the OCT image and the fundus image. If I to enlarge this at all, I can click on here and then use my magnifying glass to zoom in and zoom out. So you can really see the placement of that OCTA. That, that's pretty much it. There's a few other features up here on the toolbar, but as far as your basic use of Retina Workplace, I don't want to make it any more complicated than it has to be. Is there anything in particular that you're interested in that I didn't cover, or any questions at all? No? Okay. Well, that's basically it now. The one, I know you've had this for a little bit of time here. It seems like you've had it for about a month. We do find oftentimes that the questions come up after the training. Now, after you've seen the functionality of it, you get in to use it. So if that's the case, you can always please feel free to reach back out to me. Robert has my contact information. We can always host another follow-up, just answer any questions.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for the great discussion. Could you take do you a macular hole that you could measure?
Sure. Let's see if I have a case here. Here, I mean, this isn't quite a macular hole, but just a little bit of fluid here. So whatever it is, you would just find the area that you want to measure, click on this caliper, this measuring tool here, and then you just hold, click, and drag. And you can enlarge it as well just by double clicking here on the B-scan area, just so you have a little bit of a larger view, but you can measure, and you can manipulate this to put it wherever you'd like.
Okay. That seems straightforward.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. It is. The thing I find the most with this is it is pretty straightforward. Any changes that you make will save. You can easily delete them, so nothing is permanent. You're not going to come in here and do something that's stuck. But we find that there's just a lot of features, so it takes getting in there and using it. For you to feel comfortable with it, it can be a little bit overwhelming at first, but pretty straightforward and user friendly.
Need to spend some time with it now after this discussion.
Exactly. And like I said, once you start using it, if you have any questions from there, you can always email me. If it's something that can't be answered in an email, we can just do a brief WebEx again to answer any questions.
Well, sorry about the Patriots. We love Tom Brady too.
I know.
Not everyone.
I'm a Michigan graduate.
Oh, okay, because I'm thinking not everyone loves Tom Brady, but okay.
We certainly do here in Boston. It's sad, but that's okay. We've been spoiled for the past few years, so it's about time to let somebody else have it, I guess.
Yep. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, everybody. You have a great evening, and just feel free to reach out if you need anything. I hope it was helpful.
It was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha.
You're welcome. And Robert, I will get this recording sent over to you tomorrow so that you have it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. Have a great evening.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.